So you can see my screen, Prabhu? Okay. Hare Krishna.
Yes, sir.
So Hare Krishna, Sakhi, Radhika Mataji. Hare Krishna, Jai Dharma, Prabhu. Today we have less devotees, but we will start. Maybe others will join soon. So we're doing 17th chapter, and we have done probably first part of it. So last week we started different types of food, especially the food in mode of passion. So we'll just do a quick revision of these verses. 17.9 I will not do. 17.10 we can do because it's more practical. Jai Dharma Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare
Hare Krishna. Would you like to do 17.10?
Sure, Prabhu. Translation. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things, he referred to those in the mode of darkness. So I think as you were explaining, Prabhu, the Lord is explaining the foods and how they affect the material modes of nature in individual soul. So in this, I think he's emphasizing certain aspects. If eaten in that kind of a state, it will lead or it will be leading to the mode of darkness. So some of the points mentioned was food prepared for more than 3 hours being eaten. So which means if we need to be in a better state, then probably we need to cook and eat fresh and food that is tasteless and decomposed and putrid. So similarly, food which is tasteless, like some of them, they don't have life. So some of those foods also, and also if it is decomposed and it's consisting of any untouchable things. I think probably he's referring to the animal killing kind of remnants, which are only leads to the mode of darkness. So what we eat is what the state one would gradually get it. So I think one need to be very cautious to try to avoid the foods which cause these modes of darkness. So it's better to always offer the bhoga to the Lord and immediately take it. That way we don't. And similarly, try to avoid any animal fat relate animal killing like food, and also not the decomposed food. So that way it is healthy as well and disease free. That's what my little understanding from. Sorry,
Yep.
I missed the last.
No, that's okay. And just one more important point I think we discussed last time. Sometimes devotees also cook long-term food, so they should not be counted in these categories as far as it's prasadam. So the spiritual principle always or may overrule the material principle. So even if it is old prasad, we are traveling, we prefer to take the prasad. Now, Vinay Prabhu is in Jagannath Puri, and we know Jagannath Puri prasadam doesn't go off at all. It says because they cook the dal. One person who traveled from Jagannath Puri took some dal, just the tuar dal, and he traveled in the train for like 36, 40 hours or something, and the dal didn't go bad at all. So those sort of categories, obviously, we understand, which should not be counted under 17.10. As far as is prasadam, we prefer that. But as Prabhuji said, as much as possible, we cook fresh bhoga, offer it to Lord, and then we can consume. It's good for our health. Yes, Sakhi Radhika Mataji.
Prabhuji, quickly, just I was hearing today, Raghunath Das Goswami used to eat the chewed of the cow's prasad, which was like thrown by the devotees, and the cows used to chew it, and then he was eating that, and then Lord Chaitanya took that from his mom.
That's right.
So I was thinking we are thinking so much, but they have different value for prasad.
Yes, yes. For them, that is pure prasad because, as you correctly said, even cows would not eat those grains because it has become so hard. Raghunath Goswami will collect all the grains, little grains, and then soak them into water and then eat it. And the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Tum amrit kha rahe ho, you are eating the nectar." And he snatched those bunch of rice from the hand of Raghunath Goswami. Yeah, that is a very different level altogether. But it's talking about the day-to-day life for a normal person. Okay, 17.11. So just quick summary here. So 17, 8, 9, and 10 talk about the food. And now 11, 12, and 13 talk about sacrifice. And then 14, 15, 16 talks about austerity of mind, body, and speech. 17, 18, 19 will talk about 3 types of austerity, like austerity in 3 modes. And then 2019, 2021 talks about the dan. 2021, 22 actually talks about the dan, charity in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So you can remember this summary in your mind. The whole chapter can play. I tried to make a sort of a chart many years ago. I don't know where it is now, but that's very useful. So you can also try to draw again for your own understanding. So just draw like a matrix. You can do goodness, passion, ignorance, and sacrifice. Goodness, passion, ignorance. You can write, full characteristics. If any devotee wants to create the chart and share, that will be nice. Again, when I create the chart, it's for my understanding. I understand the best when I write on my own. So I don't know where that chart is if I have it, but simply, you know what I'm saying, the metrics. So you can have sacrifice, food, in one x-axis and y-axis, you can have goodness, passion, ignorance, or other way, doesn't matter. And you can put all the important characteristics. So then you can see the whole chapter 17 in one page. So you can try to make it. Maybe, Sundar Gopal Prabhu or someone can take the lead and just divide and rule. So three things. It's just for our own understanding. And that's how I learned this chapter. Okay, 17:11. We can do Hare Krishna Prasanna Prabhu. You're driving?
Prabhu, I'm driving.
No
driving,
problem. Please.
Just I'll take another 15 minutes. Sir.
No problem, Prabhu. You can switch off your camera. Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Radhika Mataji can do if you like.
Of sacrifices, the sacrifice performed according to the directions of scripture as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness. So here, afala akankshibhi, by those who devoid of desire for result. So 3 level of sacrifice, 3 things, not level, but 3 things are told here. That is, sacrifices in goodness. It includes that if it is like here Prabhupada says that if it is it should be done with no desire, like no ulterior motive. Like if somebody goes to the temple, they should go to offer respect to the deities, not to have like ask for some material benefit. So that's one. And then as a matter of duty and does any sacrifice according to the descriptions of the scriptures, which is vidhi dishto, and the
Yes, Tabyam.
and the third one. Yeah, 3
Yes,
things are there as a matter of duty.
Samadhaya.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, Tabyam, as you said, must be performed as a matter of duty as well. But afala akanksha, there's no akanksha of the phala, of the fruits, vidhi disto. And that's not just emotional level. Many times in India, you see many, I love Krishna or God, whatever. But they have no vidhi vidhan in their puja, just emotional. And how long do they last? So emotions may carry on for 6 months, 1 year, or something. And then because they're not doing any palan of vidhi vidhan, they break down when the life turns them to different direction. They go to different direction. Today they have emotion for Krishna. Tomorrow they will have for another demigod or this Baba or that Baba, because they are on the emotional level. So vidhi disto is very, very, very important. Many times they are apalakanksha, but because they are not vidhi disto, that's why Prabhupada says philosophy is very much needed. But religion has to be accompanied with philosophy. anything alone will not work. So you have to combine both together in mana samadhaya, focus. We'll read about this focus later in the chapter as well. Thank you, Mataji. 17.12, Priya Mataji, would you like to do?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. So 17.12. But the sacrifice performed. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of the Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion. So this one says that the previous verse said there's no akanksha. The previous verse that we talked about, it says no desire, but now we are talking about desiring, which is abhisandhaya. So this verse talks about that there is desire for the phala, the desire for the result. So like I'm doing this yagna or that yagna to get some benefit or so I'll get, or my wealth will increase, so forth. And then Dambhartam api chevayat. So this one is you mentioned that this is more to do with the pride in terms of having pride in when you do yagna. So like people, for example, compare their deities, or the cost they've paid, the amount of money they've paid. Sometimes I've paid this much, and so my deities are more worshipable, or some people have that mentality. So the pride comes in with the yagna. Ijayate is, they worship like so they worship like in that form, or son of the Bharatas. And then it says that tam yagnam vidhi rajasam, which is the passion. So this is the type of sacrifice people kind of do in the rajasam, in the mode of passion.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So basically, two characteristics are given here. Abhisandhaya means attached to phala. In previous one was aphala kankshapet, and second is dambhartham, basically for the show off. So it's not really for the pleasing the Lord. It's just a show off in the society. Thank you, Mataji. 17:13, Raghavi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
You are able to do?
Yes, Prabhuji. I'll try. So this also, this verse also talks about the sacrifice, but it is done in the mode of passion. First, I'll read the translation. Sorry. Any sacrifice performed without regard for directions of scripture, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations to the priest, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. So it says vidhihinam. Vidhihinam means without any scriptural directions. So, and ashrishtanam means without any distribution of prasadam. Mantrahinam means without chanting any holy names. Adakshinam means without giving any remuneration to the priest. Shraddha, without any bhakti. Shraddha virahitam. Yagnam is like sacrifice, spiritual, yagna karna. Yagna.
Yes.
So basically you're doing yagna but without any bhakti or without any faith. So all those things are considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Yes. That's what I remember, Prabhu.
No, that's fine, Mother. Yes, it's everything. So this word, people struggle. Actually, ashrust means distribution, annam. So annam refers to
Ashrasht.
Ashrasht means distribution. So now here annam refers
Annam
to
is rice,
anna,
yeah. So,
grain
yeah,
or something.
grain, yeah.
So Ashrasht basically Prabhupada translates without distribution of prasadam, because you offer grains in the yajna, grain, cooked grain, sometimes uncooked grain also we offer, like we offer jaw, bajra. In the black till we offer gehu, wheat we offer. So if that grains are not offered and then again distributed to the people who are attending the yajna, that's not considered good. And obviously no vidhihinam, no vidhi vidhan, jo manaya kar rahe hain, whatever their mind says they do. And we see these sort of yajnas in India many times around. They will just do for the name's sake. And adakshanam, they're not giving any remuneration to the priest. Shraddha viraitam. And the main important point is Shraddha. Faith has to be there in that yajna. That is absent in this case. Now 14, 15, 16, we are talking about the tapa, austerity. So mind, body, and word. So it starts with the body. We can do a quick one here. Sundar Gopal Prabhu or Mataji, if you like to do. Just read some Sanskrit terms quickly and then just translate it.
Yes, Prabhu. Deva Dvija Guru.
I thought we can just do the translation. We can take help of Prabhupada's translation. That's fine.
Okay.
So Deva refers to?
The Lord.
Yes.
And the Dvija is Brahmanas. Guru, the spiritual master.
So what's the difference between Dvija and Guru?
So Guru is basically Guru, the spiritual master whom we are learning getting the spiritual knowledge. And
yes. And
Dvija
Dvija?
is the Brahmanas who actually, how do I explain?
All the Brahmanas basically, huh? Dvija, Dvijatiya. So they have taken second birth. So basically in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, you can say second initiated devotees. So they are respectful. They have taken. Now, they may not be your guru. That's fine. Amongst one of them will be your guru. And our guru can be of different types of guru. But that's a sort of difference. So Dvija, like you respect all the Brahmanas, but guru obviously is one of the Brahmanas whom you have taken shelter of. He's also a Brahman. He's also a devotee. Okay, Pragya.
Pragya is the person who are pure and worshipable personality.
Yes, worshipable. So there are many pragyas, like elderly people in our family or even outside. Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj said very nicely in somewhere, he said in Hindi, so I'll say in Hindi first. He said, किसी को प्रणाम करने में कुछ नहीं जाता है. So if you have to bow down, even to a Mayavadi, he was referring to them. If you have to bow, no, we don't agree with their philosophy, but as a matter of culture, if a devotee is passing by from other sampradaya, we can actually offer the respects. Now, how the detail will vary, you can offer by hand, you can offer even by eyes, you can bow down, physically bow down. So then Maharaj said, जहां प्रणाम नहीं करना चाहिए वहां प्रणाम करने में कोई हर्ज नहीं है, बट जहां करना चाहिए वहां नहीं किया तो हर्ज है. जहां नहीं करना चाहिए, whether you may not you should not do the pranam, even if you do pranam there's no harm. You did pranam to that person. Krishna is in that heart as well. But imagine where you should have done the pranam and you don't do the pranam. So basically he was referring to offer respects to everyone. Very nicely he was saying. Okay, so pragya, and there are many pragyas, and some maybe a gyan pragya, someone very jnani people are there. Again, we don't have to closely associate if they're not devotees, but we can offer respects to them. Okay, pujanam. I think there are worshipable personalities as well. Sometime, how do I say, even in our family, we'll have some worshipable personalities. Like again, elderly people, they have a particular relationship with you, or in your community, there can be many. Okay, Socham.
Cleanliness and
Yes. And primarily internal cleanliness. Yes. As Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj said, and Prabhupada also said, purity is the force. So if they are purity, which refers to their mind purity. Okay, Arjavam.
Being simple,
Yes. So we discussed a particular phrase which Prabhupada used to mention a lot. Simple living and high thinking, not simply living and hardly thinking. So again, hardly thinking about spiritual life. Otherwise, we always think. Everyone is thinking. Even Pashu, Pakshi, animals, birds, everyone is thinking. Since morning they get up, they start thinking. What are they thinking about? 4 topics: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. We are also doing the same thing. So, simple living and high thinking. High thinking refers to what's the goal of human life and how I'm going to achieve or contribute to that goal today. I get up today, how I'm going to contribute to that goal. Today is the important day. So, Arjun, a simple life. As Guru Maharaj said, if your life is simple, you have more time for Krishna. If your life is complex, you have less time for Krishna. That's true. If you have more gadgets and more responsibilities, which we just take on our head, we have less time for Krishna. So if you have simple life, life can be dedicated more to Krishna. Okay. Next 2.
And the brahmacharyam means having celibacy, following the celibacy, and ahimsa is the non-violence.
Yep.
And
So brahmacharya is used for what purpose? To counteract lust. And ahimsa is used for krodha. So to counteract krodha, you follow ahimsa. Now ahimsa can also be on different levels, but a principle is so lust and anger, which are very big enemies. So if you follow that, shariram tapauchate, then lust and anger can be controlled. Okay, Mataji, last line.
And shariram tapaha uchyate. So shariram is the body, and tapaha means the austerity that we perform, and uchyate is said to be. Yeah. So the austerity of the body consists, I'll just read the translation then.
Yeah.
Austerity of the body consists in worship of Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the ritual master, and superiors like father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. So the person should be clean and paying obeisances and respecting elders, and also following the celibate brahmacharyam, and he shouldn't be violent or he shouldn't have lust or anger towards anyone, and that's the kind of tapaha. That's the best tapaha.
Yeah. So the body is supposed to follow this. Now it may be difficult. Here tapa means it's difficult to do that, but we still try to do it. And that's how we purify our senses and mind. Thank you, Mataji. Now 17, 15 is a very important verse. Who wants to do? Jai Dharma Prabhu, we are back to you. Today the circle goes faster. A quick one you can do, Prabhu, just the translation of the words.
So, anudvegakaram means the words which doesn't cause any agitation.
Yes. Thank you.
And satyam, which is always truthful. Priyam, which is pleasing. And hitam, which is for beneficial.
It's called triple filter. So it says when we speak something, it should be triply filtered. Our vachan, our statement should be satya, should be truthful, should be pleasing. Now, not all satya will be apriya. That means many truthful statements may not be very pleasing to the others, but we try, if possible, we speak in a pleasing way. And hitam, it has to be beneficial. If it's satya, it's priya, but no benefit is done to others, why would we speak? We are wasting our time, we are wasting others' time. So as much as possible, we follow all the 3 principles, but the first principle has to be satya. Second, we can add priya, and it has to be a hita statement. Like sometimes doctor may speak some satya which looks very harsh, very, very harsh, but it's for the hita of the patient, for the benefit of the patient. So doctor has to speak, but doctor can speak as much as possible in a less agitating way. Oh, you got cancer, you're going to die tomorrow. The doctor can say, okay, you have something, we can try to manage. There are some ways. Again, he has to be satya. He is not hiding, but at the same time, he doesn't have to agitate himself or the patient. Otherwise, patient will just lose. So can be presented in a better way. Now, when Shringi gave curse to Parikshit Maharaj. And when he heard that from the disciple of Shamik Rishi, he was completely ready. Like he said, thank you to Krishna. I was too involved in my family life. So thank you, Krishna, for giving this sort of curse so I can dedicate my rest of the 7 days in your service. And that's what he did. So again, there may be many statements which are Satya and Hita, but not Priya, but try all the three filters. It's difficult, but we can try. Thank you, Prabhu. Next line.
And Swadhyaya, so it needs to be in accordance with the scriptures.
Yes.
So when we refer to Satya or so it needs to align with what scripture says. It should not be coming out of just some preassumptions. So
but the Swadhyaya refers to your self-study of scripture. So everyone, I was speaking to some person yesterday in the temple, maybe day before yesterday. He was saying, Prabhu, I listen lecture, but I don't read. But it says you must read. Listening lectures is very nice, must read. And that's how Prabhupada encouraged all his disciples to read his books, So listening is very good, but Swadhyaya is also important. And Abhyasanam is? Practice. Most difficult part. Listening is good, even reading is all right, but practicing, oh my God. But eventually Krishna is saying you have to practice. If you're not practicing, again, you will struggle. Today I was listening Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, and he was saying one thing is to give class. He was speaking to some devotees. That's recorded. So he was saying one thing is to give class, and that class has to be relevant, which is nice. And the second thing is saying you cannot just speak something without the realization. It doesn't mean you don't speak, but he's saying when you speak with the realization, like what I say, I mean it, I'm convinced about it, then he said it has much more effect. So if I'm doing abhyas, simple example, Prabhupada said, if I'm smoking, I cannot tell you to stop smoking. Or maybe I can tell you, but it won't work because I myself is going to smoke cigarette or whatever. So Abhyasanam, and Abhyasanam again can be seen in life of Prabhupada or anyone. They lived what they preached, and that's why they were so successful. Many times we also speak the same word. Narad Muni also speaking the same word, but Narad Muni speaks, Prabhupada speaks, or a devotee speaks. It works. It has an impact on another person. Like simple example of Valmiki, Ratnakar Daku, pre-Valmiki version. When Narad Muni spoke to him, he stopped actually. He stopped. Many Brahmanas were passed in the beginning, but he didn't listen to anyone. But he heard Narad Muni. And he said, okay, I'll bind you with the rope. I'll go home and confirm what you're saying is correct or no. Will your family members share your karma? He said, yes, of course, they will share my karma. Narad Muni said, no, you go and ask. He asked his father, will you share my karma? Father said, why would I share your karma? You kill people, you will suffer. He went to wife. Wife said, get out. My job is to cook prasad. So you bring money by good means or bad means. I will not share your karma. He went to the kids. Kids also said, I will not share karma. And he came back and fell to the feet of Narad Muni. So Narad Muni, what he spoke is not the first time he heard. But when Narad Muni spoke, it has an impact. So similarly, Prabhupada spoke, it had an impact. When we speak, no one hears anything. Even we ourselves don't hear what to speak over the. Why? Because we lack purity. And why? Abhyasanam. Swadhyaya may also be there, but Abhyasanam is there. Swadhyaya is there, Bhakti Shastri exam aa raha hai. Karna padega. But Abhyasanam. Prabhupada said application is the key. And I'm speaking, I'm also struggling. But this is what Prabhupada said. And if you can do Abhyas, Prabhupada said, even one verse of Bhagavad Gita, if you can live, your life will be perfect. So that is the key. Speaking very nice, actually, that's not the conclusion at all. Many people can speak very nice. They may cram so many verses, present themselves as a very great devotee, which they may be, but may not be. So Abhyasanam is the key. So Krishna is saying Abhyas Swadhyaya and then Abhyasanam. And this is the last line, Chaitanya Prabhuji.
Yeah, one mayam. So one is walk out of speech, and tapa is austerity, uchyate. So it's considered to be highest.
Yeah, thank you.
So in the life of, I think whatever you mentioned, Prabhu, all the acharyas, they practice. They do the walk, the talk,
Yes.
and also even if we look at Lord Ram or Lord Krishna's life, like even when they were in most difficult phases of their life, also like when Lord Krishna walks and talks with all these Kauravas in the Shanti Parva, like when he was trying to do the peace pact, also he was always adhered to whatever he was preaching here. So he was always trying to say it in a very pleasing way, even though,
Yes.
and also he brought the Satya part of it also, that if you
That's
do it.
correct. Yes. So in Virat, when the meeting was going on, in your example, Prabhu, very nice example. So first, the proposal was made, Balramji go and should talk on behalf of Pandavas. Then Balram said, no, I am not good in speaking as good as Krishna. Krishna, he is very good. Huh? When he speaks, he can convince anyone. So Balramji said to Krishna, Krishna, you go as a peace messenger on behalf of Pandavas and negotiate. Krishna said, all right. Huh? So it's not an easy job, actually. Huh? Balramji is also Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he said in this instance that, no, Krishna is very good in speaking. Huh? And again, he has to present Satya in a Priya way, in a Hita way. Thank you, Prabhu. 1716. Rupam Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would you like to do?
Bro, I wasn't there last week.
Okay, no worries.
I can.
Yes, Mataji.
And satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. So here, mana prasada saumyatvam. This means satisfaction, simplicity, and simplicity here means Prabhupada writes that with no duplicity, simplicity of like clarity of things, what you want, and next one is monam.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Just one thing. So manah prasada. So prasada refers to satisfaction. So I think we discussed one more point last week, if anyone remembers, on prasada word. So satisfaction is not just an emotion, it's a decision. So many times we may feel, I'm not satisfied with my car or job or house, whatever. No. You'll never be satisfied. What you have to say? I have to be. If this works, again, if it's not working for your life, that's fine. But sometimes you have to say, no, this house is perfect, this job is perfect, my clothings are perfect. All this not perfect is my mind. I have to just shut down and then put the mind in the right direction. So many times I'm not satisfied. No, you'll never be satisfied. But you have to, again, for tapa, for dana, for Krishna conscious practices, there you should not be satisfied. And there we are fully satisfied. I went to temple last week and I served Krishna for 2 hours. 2 hours. Okay, Prabhuji, what about this week? What about today? Today is Govardhan Puja. Let's go and do some seva. Some seva. If no seva, at least you can go down to Krishna and Prabhupada. So our prasada should be rightly directed. Otherwise, it's always directed towards material things. And we are never prasada, never satisfied. So we have to say just enough. If it is enough, like Prabhupada said, one quote he said, simple living and high thinking. Another also he said for prasad, I mean the eating prasadam. He said, first 6 months you eat till the neck, and after that you only eat which is required to maintain body and soul together, so they don't break apart. So soul is still in the body, so you look after the soul. Now you've been here, I don't know how many years, 20 plus years, you're still eating till the neck. Yesterday was Govardhan Puja, I went. And the prasad was so nice. So we have to say, even I'm telling to myself, no, we have to put our direction somewhere else. Sorry, Mataji, I thought it's a nice, important word.
So monam atma vinigraha. Monam here means gravity or silence, and in the purport Prabhupada writes that the best training for the mind is gravity in thought, and we should not deviate from Krishna consciousness and must always avoid sense gratification. That means that the gravity that means here monam doesn't mean that one has to just be quiet, but one should know when to speak, like when to what is serving Krishna can be, then we can use our mind to think about it. But if it is not serving the Lord, it is for sense gratification, then we can divert the mind to Vedic scriptures, and to their to that knowledge we can put we can use that knowledge to control our senses.
Yep. And also mon or gravity, rather, take the word gravity. So gravity means serious. Gravity means stable. So we are not just jumping here and there. We are serious. Guru Maharaj used to say, become serious about serious things. We are serious about unserious things. We are very serious. I've lost my money, I've lost my health, this and that. We are very, very serious about those. And for spiritual topics, chalega. 16 mala ho gaya, 60 mala I have done. I've passed my Bhakti Shastri exam. Enough. No, that's not seriousness at all, to be honest. So serious means serious about serious things. The things which are really important to our soul, that are serious things. Vinay Prabhu, live from Jagannath Puri. So he's going all the way to Jagannath Puri, and it does take effort, but he's serious. And many devotees as well are very serious, and it's very nice to go to Dham for Parikrama. Prabhupada used to say, at least once in a year you should go to Dham, and devotees are, but Prabhupada, it costs a lot of money. Prabhupada said you should still go. You should still go. So the point Prabhupada was emphasizing, as much as possible, you should go to Dham. If not Dham, at least local Sydney Dham, we can go 180 Falcon Street as much as possible and do some seva. Last point, monam is austerity of, not the speech of the mind. So Prabhupada said, if your mind is mona, then your speech can be mona. Just speaking mona will not work. As Mataji was saying, we have to direct our speech in a proper way, but the mona starts from here, not here. And many times some Moni Babas are writing the things and that becomes very, very difficult. And I heard in a lecture, some Mataji will do a Maun Vrat on Tuesday or Wednesday someday. And that day it will be so much agitation in the family because she's having a Maun Vrat. She's trying to express something, others are not able to understand, and then she will write it. She will get upset. Others will also get upset, and the whole thing will become a big thing because the mother is Mona on that day. That sort of Mona is not so much needed. One time, Moni Baba came to Prabhupada. One devotee got him and he said, he's a very Jnani Baba, but he's Moni. So Prabhupada said, so how do you know he's Jnani? He said, he will write in the board. He will write in the board. So Prabhupada said, so means what next? He said, he can be useful in preaching. Well, if he's Moni, how is he going to preach? I'm preaching, but I'm Moni. So the preaching is, speaking is just not the thing. The thing is, what are you speaking? If you're speaking about Krishna, it says your Vani, your speech is a chaste, like a wife who's serving the husband. So our Vani, who's the wife of Krishna, is the energy of Krishna, should serve Krishna. When it's serving Krishna, it's very chaste. It's very, very chaste. When we speak other topics, some nonsense topics, then it's unchaste. And it applies to our speech and mind and eyes and ears, everything. So all our senses should be chaste to Krishna because Krishna is the master, Hrishikesha. And if we are not serving Krishna with these senses given by Krishna, we are being like an unchaste. Sridhar Swami says, like a prostitute. He said for the Bhagavatam, he said, if you're not serving Krishna, you're prostitute. He said in Bengali. So you have to serve Krishna because everything is given by Krishna. Otherwise, we are unchaste. Okay, Mataji. Okay, Priya Mataji, you have a question or on Mona, or we can finish the verse?
Prabhuji, I actually wasn't sure why Prabhupada has mentioned this word gravity in connection with the thought.
Yes. So if your thoughts are stable, Mataji, you have a stable thought with Krishna or for Krishna, then you're grave. Otherwise, you are superfluous. Like a simple example, you go to a funeral of someone, and there you start cracking jokes and you're laughing and you say, yeah, kya hua? Sab theek hai. No, it's a serious business. Someone loved one has passed away, or there's some serious calamity in the family. There you have to be grave. So similarly, we are grave for the situation, that the situation we are in at the moment looks very comfortable. It's not. And that's why we become complacent. One time, one devotee was explaining, he was doing a uni program, and one of the students asked why Bhagavad Gita cover page is on the battlefield. So Maharaj explained very nicely, because one meaning, although this has many meanings, one meaning is our life is also on the battlefield. Any day, anything can happen to anyone, but we are super cool thinking about these things. Super cool. Kuch nahi hoga. Tomorrow I'll buy this property, and day after tomorrow I'll have more investment, and then this 5 years later I'll do this, and 20 years later I'll get like this. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to plan, but too much planning in that sort of direction. So we are not brave. We are not brave. So our gravity refers to how much serious we are in developing our Krishna consciousness. So that's what it means. And then Mona means we will not speak any superfluous things, like unnecessary things. Will not speak, because there's no time. Like you have your Mataji, IIT entrance exam tomorrow, for example. Will you be doing some Prajalpa tonight? Anyone will say, Prabhuji, Mataji, can we talk tomorrow? Tomorrow I have, okay, not IIT exam, say Bhakti Shastri exam, a simple one. So that night or that evening will not speak or watch or waste time. Tomorrow morning I have an exam, right? You are serious about it. If not, you're going to fail the exam. So, but how serious we are in the exam of life, only we know how serious we are. So that's what Mona relates to the gravity.
Okay, Prabhuji. So the how serious we are, and
Definitely.
we have that distinguished power to see where we have to be grave, and in what's it like in that sort of mundane situation also.
Yes, Mataji.
If you go to a funeral, you wouldn't be laughing or something like
exactly. So we are sitting exactly in a battlefield of Bhagavad Gita, and things are happening around us. Every day we hear, that uncle, that auntie got a stroke or brain hemorrhage, or, this person got that. But we never think this will happen to me. My life will carry on. Tomorrow I'll go to this shop and buy that. So again, planning is not bad. I'm saying we're planning for Krishna and all that. That's fine. But over planning the material world, not needed. Not needed. Some high level plan we should have, and that's our kartavya as well. But at the end of the day, we know tomorrow Krishna can change everything. Everything he can change. So have more trust in Krishna rather than in your own plans. That's what the point is.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Sakhi Radhika Mataji, we can continue.
Also, gravity also means silence, and in the purport, Prabhupada's right that silence means that one is always thinking of self-realization. The person in Krishna consciousness observes perfect silence in this sense. And eventually, in the third line, it says, Bhava sam shuddhir iti etat, which means of one's nature, purification does this, and purity of heart is obtained eventually.
Yes. So Bhava, like we have. Sorry, Mataji, please continue.
No, Ru is saying, sorry.
Yeah, so Bhava refers to Bhavasagar. So in Bhavasagar, because we are impure, so we have to purify. Bhava Samsuddhir. So Samsuddhir refers to purification. So our existence needs to be purified because we have become unpurified now. With all the anarthas, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar, we have become unpurified. So we have to purify ourselves. And that is Tapo Manasa Muchyate, the austerity of mind. We hardly think about it. But here Krishna is writing all these nice verses. You can just say, yes, Mata.
So in a nutshell, to understand what we need to practice or apply from these verses, that if we take the decision of being satisfied, and then eventually we will get the feeling of being satisfied, and then we get the feeling of satisfaction, and then no duplicity, we try to keep things simple in our lives, and then being serious on what we can do on our behalf, and then doing self-control first on the basis of the mind, and eventually it will come.
I
And
think
eventually
first from the bodily level. Self-control starts
Bodily.
from the body level, not a mind is very, very big thing. Like we have Shama and Dama. So Dama means body level self-control. So suppose for a simple example, if you on Ekadashi, you see a gulab jamun, a grain gulab jamun. Now we also have Ekadashi gulab jamuns these days. Devotees cook everything these days on Ekadashi. Anyway, you see a gulab jamun, you may feel like eating it, but today is Ekadashi, so you will not have. So that is called Indriya Daman, like sense control on a body level. So mental level, you felt like eating that pizza or whatever. But on a mind level, you said, yeah, that's fine, but I'm not going to give you today. Tomorrow morning, we can have this gulab jamun or Mahaprasad. That's fine. So similarly, we start from the bodily level, then it will come to mental level. And that is the goal. And like right now, we are doing so many things in Krishna consciousness, but not necessarily our mind is there, but at least body is there. At least body is there. And slowly, when mind is purified, then mind will also come. That's the goal. Hope one day. Okay, let's move. Let's move to the next one. Okay, I'll leave that. They are pretty straightforward. This one, 1719. Anyone remembers the example? Pidaya kriyate tapaha.
Prabhu, you gave of Vrakasura?
Vrakasur or Bhasmasur. They both same.
He cut the flesh of his body to offer as the sacrifice to Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva came down.
Yes. So he was hurting himself. But what was the purpose in his mind? To hurt Lord Shiva. This amazing sort of austerity. In Hindi, there's a saying, just thali mein khate hain, usi mein ched karte. So the boon you're getting from someone or anything, your friend is helping you today and then tomorrow you go and, hurt your friend. It's very amazing, but people do it. And we have examples in Shastra. It's not just that modern people are doing it. Even in the past, people have done it. Okay, let's move forward. This is also nice. 1720. Someone can do it quickly. Datavyam iti yadadanam diyate na anupakarane. Datavyam refers to? You can read here.
Worthy recipient.
Yes. So he is worthy recipient and diyate na anupakarane. Upkar means I am doing something for you. You do something back from me. But what I'm thinking, na anupakarane. So this person may not do anything for me and I'm fine with that. I'm not expecting. And this is also deshe kale cha patrecha. What does that mean?
So deshe on like a
Jagannath Puri, Kale, Kartik Mas, and Patre Shuddha Brahman. Sorry, one example. And it can be, so Desh mein, when we go to Vrindavan, Dham, and there's a particular Kal, if all three combined together, just imagine the charity will be so much. Even one of them is important. When you go to, say, temple, our own temple, that's a special desh, it's a special place. In that place, one devotee was saying, you can chant 16 rounds at home, but when you chant in front of Radha Gopinath, that is very nice. So not that your chanting at home is not counted, not like that, but Radha Gopinath is very special. They are installed for last 50 plus years. So many devotees have worshipped them. So they have such a potency. So when Rupam Prabhu comes for Mangala Aarti and he chants in front of Radha Gopinath, that has a special effect and that can be imagined in our mind. So that's why we should come. Again, may not be every day, but possible. But I think Madhuri Mataji is here. She is the only one at the moment, which we see on the screen going every day. Mangala Aarti is very, very nice. And she's inspiring all of us. But what to do? I'm lazy, Mataji. So because she knows there's a special Desh and a special Kal, and she's taking full benefit. And we should also take benefit, like Madhuri Mataji. And Patra, obviously, when you do Patra, Uchit Vaishnav, you do donation to Uchit Vaishnav, again with a good feeling that by his blessings, I will be purified more. That's very nice. Tad Danam Satvikam Smritam. So we should try to do this sort of dan. Usually what we do this sort of dan, 1721. Who would like to do? Priya Mataji, would you like to try? Quick one, Mata, just some special words. which is exactly opposite to 1720 actually.
Oh. So this one, yeah, is your so you got pratyupakarartham is, you know, for the sake of getting something back in return.
So we have
So
this expectation, I gave you $10, you must give me
yeah,
$20 back, or at least
yeah,
some respect back. Prati upakar artham. So artham means business, upkar means upkar, and prati means opposite.
yeah. And then phalam is the result,
Yeah.
desiring, uddesha. And then puna means again, so having that desire again in the heart.
Yeah, and this is important word, pariklishtam. So how we are giving, that is also very important. Huh? So pariklishtam means grudgingly.
Grudgingly, yeah.
ले ले तू भी क्या याद रखेगा.
Yeah. So
Something
not
like that.
really,
You're not respecting the person, basically.
yeah,
Huh?
no, like being resenting it, but still doing it.
Still
Yeah.
doing it, huh? When Bhikari is coming and saying, please give me some food or something, then you're like, oh yeah, you are not good people, this and that. You say some, wrong words basically, and you still give them a rupee or two. Huh? So no, you should respect the person when you're giving. Okay, let's move to the last verse, which is exactly opposite again of 1720. Who would like to do? Prasanna Prabhu, if you are stable, means you're not driving, do.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So I'll read the translation.
Just probably a quick one. Just you can pick up the words from here.
Adesha kale. Adesha means not the right place, impure place. Kale.
It's akale actually. Adesha akale. So akale goes in both.
Okay, adesha akale. Okay, akale is unpurified time. Not
like sometimes Surya Grahan or something is there and it's said, you should not do this, not should do that, and you said no, I must do in this time. Like Surya Grahan, you chant basically. You do some spiritual activities that time. So that's called akala.
Yeah.
And apatra.
Apatra means person who is not eligible for charity.
We see in the modern world so many countries sponsor the projects which are actually completely wrong projects, and they are putting so much money in those projects. So many countries are doing it. I don't want to name the country or the projects, but you all understand. A neighboring country is doing a sponsorship of all these projects which is going to hurt my neighbor, and I spend money to hurt my neighbor. My own citizens are hungry, but I sponsor some projects which is going to hurt my neighbor, and I'm happily doing it. So that is called apatra.
Okay. Asat kritam. Means without respect. Okay.
Avajanantam.
Avajanantam.
Sorry, it's avagyatam. Sorry, avagyatam.
Avagyatam. Without proper attention means we are not really thinking about that person, but just you're doing it. Is it like that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's in darkness.
Yeah. It's said to be the mode of tamasam. Yeah.
Sorry for that. Let's move too quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start from 1723. So this is the last section of this chapter.
Prabhu, before going ahead, just one question.
Sure, Prabhu.
Like when you go to last time when I went to Dham Vrindavan, there's some, they'll, as if we feel that they are taking your money off from you. But what do we think about that, Prabhu? I experienced it. A lot of money went like that,
Yes. No, you're right, Prabhu. And not only in Vrindavan. I'm remembering when Prabhu is in Puri. I went to Puri many, many years ago. And I had a similar feeling, but I was pretty straightforward. So try to avoid them. And on the topic of what to think about them, we are told by our seniors that not to think too much about them. Krishna will take care of them. But we can, if possible, if there's a Uchit Patra, go with that Dhamvasi to take darshan of that dham. So the Dhamvasi will protect you because he's your lead, the group lead, if possible. If not, we just keep it simple, keep going, do your business. And when they say something, I went to Radha Kund once, and one person just came and he was just after me, left, right, and center. I completely ignored it, although I was not able to ignore. But I just completely ignored whatever he was saying. I just kept doing my things. And they will actually not even let you chant because they know you're a ISKCON devotee.
Yeah.
And every ISKCON devotee, they think at least, is millionaire. They think like that. Like, okay. And he may have more money than me. Anyway, I'm just saying. So keep it simple. But yeah, do not think anything negative because it says they are Dhamvasis and what they do, how they do, what they use the money for, and all that. None of our business. None of our business. Like in Jagannath Puri, they don't fast on Ekadashi. And when ISKCON devotees went, and I also went, they say, you're following Ekadashi in Jagannath Puri? In Jagannath Puri, there is a Ekadashi Devi. There's a mandir of Ekadashi Devi. There she has been put upside down. They say, in Jagannath Puri, no Ekadashi. But ISKCON devotees are told to still follow Ekadashi in Jagannath Puri. Now, what they follow, we don't have to criticize them. Are yaar, on Jagannath, on Ekadashi day, you are taking grace. No, this is not our business. But we, as per our acharyas, is supposed to follow Ekadashi even in Jagannath Puri and everywhere. So the point which I'm trying to make, what they do in a particular tradition, in a particular dham, is none of our business. We are not there to judge them or tell them what to do and what not to do. They are doing their things. Krishna will take care of them, and we do our things. Sometimes one devotee was telling me, sister or brother went in Vrindavan and they took like 50,000 rupees on the spot. Just naming some cow or something. But yeah, we should not do all that because we know the money may not get used properly. So keep it simple and keep going. And if you can get a Dhamvasi as your group lead, that's best. That's best. Then he will take care of all these things. And we should not do any aparadh towards them.
Oh.
It's difficult. I know it's difficult. I've gone to many dhams and I felt many times, yeah, some not proper things, but what to do?
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Prabhu. Can I ask a question?
Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, based on 1722,
Okay,
if someone is doing dana without unknowingly,
yeah,
and it turns out to be a sinful outcome, does that person still get the reaction?
Yeah. So, Prabhu, it's not a straight answer. I'm sorry to say. And that is the real answer. It's not a straight answer because your intentions were still good. That person misused your, 50 rupees and bought a bottle of alcohol or something. It's not a straight answer. But the point is, the principle is, you should give your 50 rupees or whatever in a conscious way. Whom you are giving, why you are giving, what will be the result. So what is your mood, what is his mood, what is his patrata, everything should be considered. And if you consider money may harm the person, himself or other person, so you give him prasad or some other things which they may not be able to misuse. So that's why they say we are reading Shastra for that purpose only. So we become more mature. But at the same time, it's not a straightforward, you'll get the reaction because your intentions were good, you're trying to help. But at the same time, again, just the good intentions are not good enough. So it's a complex thing. The karma cycle, Prabhuji, is very, very complex. Very, very. Arjuna is killing people, getting no karma. I kill an ant, I get karma. Honestly, it's the natural law. So it's a great difference. So it's just not the action, but what's the intention behind it. But at the same time, intention plus action also matters. Very complex detail. Principle is you should be conscious. It's not your money. It's not your facility. It's given to you by Krishna. Be as conscious as possible. And then also if someone does it, even in temples, Prabhuji, money may get used. Forget about outside. Even in temples, money may get misused. I'm not saying in our temple, but it happens. It has happened in the past, and we all know. What are you going to do, Prabhu? In temple, you're giving to a Krishna temple for Janmashtami donation. Now, this person gets the donation. I heard, I will not take the temple's name. In ISKCON, I'm talking. One person was making fake receipt for 7 months. and he accumulated hundreds and thousands of rupees in ISKCON temple at the main reception. He had a fake receipt book. Not even 1 rupee went to the DT. 1 rupee. He was a senior member. Senior in temple, I should rather say. That's why he was a reception. He, in lakhs of rupees, not few thousand rupees, he took for 7 months or so. No one found out unless something happened. And by that time, it was too late. What? He will stop coming to temple. Now, what will happen in this case? Now, obviously, you gave to the temple DT. So DTs will reciprocate with you accordingly, and DTs will reciprocate with him as well accordingly. When, how, where, we don't know that. That's up to Krishna. But you know what I'm saying? There's so many scenarios possible.
Yeah. So from our side, we just need to do our due diligence before we...
That's it. Then what happens? Only Krishna knows, Prabhuji. No one can control all those things. Yeah. But we should be fully aware, I'm using Krishna's property. So use it very carefully. Even 1 rupee, one devotee was telling me, you have no right to misspend even 1 cent. He was a senior brahmachari. You know, Rupa Prabhu. Many of you may know. Very, very senior devotee, very senior brahmachari. He told me one day, he was very serious. He said, you have no right to misspend even 1 cent. 1 cent. Don't think, I'm earning whatever, 10,000 a month or something. I can afford this $50 thing. Excuse me, not your money. Huh? So Prabhupada said 50% should be given to Krishna. 10% what we say, it's at least 50%. Rupa Goswami gave 50%. Probably you should give 50% money in Krishna consciousness. So earn 10,000, give 5,000 to temple. Anyway, that's what Prabhupada said. Now, how much you do, I'm not saying, but the standards are pretty high. So spend for Krishna, basically, or Krishna conscious movement growth. Okay, let's start 1723. Who hasn't done anything as yet? Madhuri Mataji, if you can. Okay, maybe not there. So I'll go. The screen, on top of my screen is Priya Mataji. Would you like to do?
Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdesho
Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdesho
Brahmanastrividha Smrita
Brahmanasribhida Smritaha
Brahmanastena Vedascha
Brahmanasatena Vedascha
Yagnascha Vihita Pura.
Yagyascha Vihita Pura.
Translation: From the beginning of creation, the 3 words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These 3 symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, Om Tat Sat. Now, before we start this verse, so this section which we are in is the last section of the chapter, and it sort of explains how you can uplift yourself, your faith, basically. So, if you are a faithless person, so faithless person should come to some sort of faithful stage. Now, faithful stage can also be scriptural faithfulness stage or non-scriptural faithfulness stage, right? And this is what the whole chapter is about. When Arjun asked this first question, what if the person doesn't have faith in scriptures? He has some sort of faith, but not in scriptures. So he can uplift his faith by chanting Om Tat Sat. So if he is a faithless person, he will become a faithful person. If he has faith in non-scriptures, then he can start having faith in the scriptures. If he has a scriptural faith, then he can uplift himself to the transcendental faith. Scriptural faith means you have faith in demigods, for example. That's one part of scriptures. Then you can uplift your faith. So by chanting Om Tat Sat, we'll read this verse, you can uplift yourself. You can transcend and spiritualize your activity, which you are doing with no faith or with less faith. So let's see how it works. This will be explained in this last section. So first is sort of a summary of this section. So Om Tat Sat, there are 3 words. Now, what are these 3 words? We will read in individual verses, like 24 will refer to Om, 25 will refer to Tat, and 26 and 7 will refer to Sat. So 3 words. Krishna will explain individually. So let's see a summary here. So where do they come from? Om Tassat iti nirdesho. Nirdesh diya gaya hai. Prabhupada says indication. So this is the indication for what? Indication for the absolute truth. Now we are not referring absolute truth here as Krishna. We are saying absolute truth. Like in every religion of the world, you see there is some sort of concept of God or a higher being in every religion. Now how much they follow, that's a second thing they have. Some call it Allah, some call it Jesus, some call it Jehovah, whatever. Every day they have a concept of a higher truth somewhere. So that is called absolute truth, you can say. Now, how they define, that's a secondary thing. So that absolute truth can be referred with three words. What are the three words? Om, Tat, and Sat. These three words, and we'll explain that in a minute. Where do they come from? We are reading the history of them. Brahmanas. So Brahmanas refer to the Brahmins. When did they use this word? Vedas. Vedas means when they were chanting the Vedic hymns. So when they're reading Vedas, when they're doing their tapasya and puja, so they were referring that absolute truth. Sorry, I forgot the second line. Brahman. So Brahma, here Brahma refers to the, what we say, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabde. So Brahman we referred as per our Gaudiya Sampradaya belief as the lower aspect of the absolute truth, and Bhagavan is the highest aspect. So here Brahman refers to the absolute truth, is being referred by three words. So that absolute truth is referred by three words. What are the three words? Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho. This is what is being said. By whom is this is what is being said? By Brahmanas. When did the Brahmanas say? When they were chanting the Vedic hymns, Cha and Yagyascha, and they were doing the Yagyas. So when they were doing the Yagyas, they were chanting the Vedic hymns, they were referring the absolute truth, which is Brahmanas, by three words. And the three words were Om Tat Sat. Vihita Pura. Pura means Purane Zamane mein. So in the Vedic age and in the Vedic culture, when the Brahmanas were doing Yagya and chanting the Vedic hymns, they were referring the absolute truth with three words. They were Om, Tat, and Sat. Is it clear, this verse? It's just a summary, and now we'll expand on each word. So let's do 1724. Ragvi Mataji is second on my screen.
Yes, Prabhuji. Tasmad Om iti udaharitya.
Tasmad Om iti udaharitya.
Yagnadana tapakriya.
Yagyadana tapakriyaha.
Pravartante vidhanokta.
Pravartante vidhanoktaha.
Tatatam vadinam.
Satatam vadinam.
Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with scriptural regulations begin always with Om to attain the Supreme.
Thank you, Mataji. So now this verse is referring for the Om. And as I said, the Tat and Sat will come later. So Om. Tasmad Om iti udaharatya. So Tasmad, therefore, referring to the previous verse, Om iti udaharatya. So when the Om is used, Yagya Dana Tapa Kriya. So Yagya means sacrifice, Dan is charity, and Tapa refers to the austerity. So when the Brahmavadina means the person who is following the Vedas. Here Brahmavadi doesn't refer to that Mayavadi concept here. Brahmavadi means Brahma ka acharan karne wale. So basically following the Vedic culture. So the people who are following the Vedic culture, Satatam is always pravartante vidhanokta. Whenever they do this kriya of Yagyadan and Tapaha, they will say Om, like we have Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This was given by Narad Muni to Dhruva. Om Namo Narayana. This was given to Ramanujacharya by one of his gurus. So these mantras were given, they will always start with Om. Now we have in 7th chapter, Pranamaha Sarva Vedeshu. So of all the Vedas, I am Pranam. Pranam means Om. So this is referred in all these kriyas by Brahmavadis, people who are following Vedic culture. Now if you look in another religions as well, we have a similar word, like in Christianity we have omnipotent. Omni word is used. Omni means all. In other religion we have Allah. Allah means Sarva Shaktiman. He has all the potency. Amen. They say Amen. Even in other religions also they have word Amen. So all these sort of words are coming from this root Om. Om. Very, very important. Now, why we don't use Om? Because Om is a non-personal address to Krishna. When we say Krishna, we are referring to a particular person. Om is also God, referring to absolute truth. No doubt about it. But it's a non-personal reference to Krishna. Like Manmohan Prabhu has just joined, I can say, a human has joined. I can say that. Is it wrong? No, it's not. But Manmohan Prabhu may feel offended. Arey, he will not. He's very nice. But मैं human हूँ. Prabhu knows me for 15 years or something like that. Huh? If some of your brother or uncle comes in the room, कुछ मानव आए हैं. Some humans have come in my room. Like uncle will be like, come on, I'm your uncle. So it's like that. So when we say Om to Krishna, it's not wrong. It's not wrong at all. But what we are saying to Krishna, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, there are two types of name of that absolute truth. One is primary name, one is secondary name. So primary name are referring to the person, Ram, Krishna, Yashoda, Nandan, Govardhan Dhari. So they are related to either devotees like Yashoda, Nandan, or to the Leela, Girivar Dhari. There's a specific pastime behind it. And the secondary name refers to Parmeshwar, Bhagwan, Jagat Bharta, all these things. They're also referring to the same person, but they are called the secondary names. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says we should chant secondary names or primary names. Obviously, primary names. When we say Hare, we're referring to Srimati Radharani. We refer to this Kaushalya Nandan. So to Ram, we also say Kaushalya Nandan, Dasharath Nandan. So all these names are primary names, and Lord becomes very pleased when we chant his primary names because they refer to a particular Leela or to a particular devotee. We say Prahlad Narsingha. So before Narsingha Bhagwan, we say Lakshmi Narsingha. So we add these devotees with the Lord name. So Lord becomes very, very pleased. So Om is also absolutely fine reference to that absolute. But the difference is it's a secondary nature attribute, and we go to the primary. We say, Manmohan Prabhuji hamare ghar aaye hain. This particular person, definitely he's a human, definitely, but we become more personal, and then we say, he's like that, he likes this, he doesn't like that, and all that. So this is how we approach Krishna. Namam Ishwaram Satchidananda Rupam. So that's how it says. So when we address to that Ishvara, and then we go to the qualities of that Ishvara, so the primary qualities and the secondary qualities. Lasat Kundalam Gokule Bhrajamanam. So we are being very particular. He is doing Bhrajamanam in Gokula, and Lasat Kundalam, his Kundala are singing back and forth. So we are focusing on that personal aspect. Okay. Jai Dharma Prabhuji, you want to add something?
Yeah, Prabhu. Just Om, I think earlier also we discussed quite a lot in the previous verses, like you referred, that refers to the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth. But when
we should rather
gets
say
added,
yes, Prabhu.
When it gets added with the name, like Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva, again it becomes personalized, right, Prabhu? It's
to that
because
name.
You are adding the layer
to that name.
Yeah, through that name.
Yes. Because we are referring to Narayan, and we starting. Yes, so we are actually saying Narayan. Yes, Vasudev, Narayan, and then we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're referring to Om. Om refers to the all-inclusive absolute truth, but within that absolute truth, we are referring to Narayan. We are referring to Vasudev. So we start from all-inclusive absolute truth, and when we go towards a particular person, Ram, Narayan, Krishna, like that. Okay, let's go to the next one. Who would like to do, who hasn't done as yet? Madhuri Mataji, would you like to do?
I can.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna Mata.
Tad iti anabhisandhaya.
Tad iti anabhisandhaya.
Palam yajna tapa kriya.
Palam yajna tapaha kriyaha.
Dana kriyascha vividha.
Dana kriyascha vividhaha.
Kriyante moksha kankshibhi.
Kriyante moksha kankshibhi.
Translation. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement.
Thank you, Mataji. So as I said earlier, 1725 refers to what? Tat.
Tat.
So previous word 724 was for Om. So 23 is like a summary introduction. Then 24 is Om. 25 is for Tat. And the second two verses will be for Sat. We'll read that. So Tat iti anabhisandhaya. So abhisandhaya, you remember, abhisandhaya refers to attachment. So anabhisandhaya refers to no attachment or no desire. No desire for what? Phala. No desire for phala. For what? Yajna, tapaha, kriya. So when you're doing yajna, when you're doing tapaha and dana. So these three things are mentioned in the previous verse as well as in this verse as well. So yajna, dana, tapaha, kriya, cha vivida. When they did different types of yajna, different type of austerities with different types of dana, who did that? Moksha kankshi. The person who were akankshi for moksha. Now you can say here is ana abhisandhaya, here is moksha kankshi. So ana sambandhaya refers to material results. So they were doing kamna for what? Moksha. So Prabhupada writes, without desiring fruitive results. So we're not saying no results here, fruitive results, like material results. So when I'm doing yajna, so I don't expect this yajna will, I think Priya Mataji was saying, increase my wealth or settle my health and all those things. So no. So no fruitive result desire, but we have one desire. What is that desire? Mokshakankshabihi. Mokshakankshabihi. Now, and what are we using when we are doing yajna, tapa and dana? Tat word. Now in Vedanta Sutra, one of the primary quotations are Tattvam Asi. I think it's the third one, if I'm not wrong. So first one is Adhato Brahma Jigyasa. Actually, it's the second one, Tattvam Asi, second one. So there are 4-5 primary sutras which Prabhupada also mentioned. So Tattvam Asi. So Tattvam Asi refers to, as per Mayavadi, Tattvam Asi. Tum vahi ho. You are he. You are he. Tattvam Asi. Tum vahi ho. So in Vaishnava understanding, actually also there are two understanding from Vaishnava perspective. So Tattvamasi, you are he. He is what? If you were servant originally, you are still a servant, isn't it? So that is also you are he. Don't think you are the master, you are the servant. And the second interpretation is, you are not he, you are his. Tum vahi nahi ho, tum uske ho. You are not he, you are not Lord, you are his. There's a difference. I can see Aritri, for example. So Aritri is not mother. Aritri is mothers. वो mother की है, not mother है. You know what I'm saying? You're not Lord, you're Lords. आप Lord के हैं. You belong to the Lord. You are the energy of Lord. So there's a great difference. A child belongs to mother or father. You cannot say he is mother and father. Or we say तुम वही हो. तुम वही means if you are a child, you are a child. You are not the father. So if you say तुम वही हो, you are the son. So we are Jivera Sarupa Hoy Krishnere Nitya Das. Nitya Das. So you are that one. That means you are Das. Don't think you are the master. So Tattvamasi has 2-3 interpretations basically. So our understanding is we are obviously not Lord, we are Lords. And what we are Lords? We are Lord's servant. And even if you refer to you are the same thing, you are the same thing as you were originally, which is servant of Krishna, energy of Krishna. Yes, Sakhi Radhika Mataji.
It might be a silly question, but just a thought it's getting.
No
The yagnas we do sometimes for the house yagna or for,
Yes.
children is like samskar. Samskar yagna is still okay, but the house yagna is there. And then there is other yagnas for the family tradition yagna is going on. And in the Bhagavatam, in the 5th canto, it is mentioned that a wife should follow all the vratas happening in the husband's family. So that ways we also do the yagnas, which is done in the family tradition, so that all the celestial or the beings or the ancestors are happily
satisfied. Yes.
Yeah, satisfied. So I
Yes.
was just thinking, somewhere it is material desire only that they are satisfied, to sab sahi chalta rahega. Somewhere it is there.
Yep.
So how should we avoid it, and what should be our prayerful mood? Because duty we have to perform, but what the intention can be, how can we change our intention?
Yep. So you're right, but many times, but not all the times, there's all material desires, and we are just maintaining. My Guru Maharaj was giving class once, and And he was saying some people have Lord Shiva, Durgaji, Ganesha, everyone in the altar. Why? Just in case I don't want to dissatisfy anyone. Because if I dissatisfy, say, Durgaji or Ganesh or someone, then I may be in trouble. So they have Krishna as well, and they have other demigods as well. Just giving one example, right? So they are respectful, they have faith, but they think just in case, आज गणेश चतुर्दशी, आज गणेश की पूजा करनी है. And Guru Maharaj said in Mayapur, he has seen, and he was explaining the class, some brahmacharis, obviously, it's called brahmacharis, worshipping their cycle on Vishwakarma Puja Day. So on Vishwakarma Puja Day, people worship their tools. And for the brahmachari, for example, the cycle may be very valuable, and that's fine, worshipping. So Maharaj was a little surprised. Now, we have taken full shelter of Krishna. And we say, Tasmin tushte jagat tushta. And then another famous Bhagavatam verse where we say, we give water to the root of the tree, not the leaves of the tree. So similarly, trying to satisfy all the demigods and all the, Ishta Devata, Kula Devata, this and that, first, it's not possible. And second, it does not disentangle us from this material world. We are still in the material. We may satisfy them. We may get their blessings. Our family and health and all that will be very good. But at the end of the day, we are still entangled. You're living a very good life, so-called materially good life. So what? It doesn't make much sense. Rather, Kunti Maharani said, give me Vipada and I'm better in that situation. So this is our understanding. Now, in terms of following it, now we are not such a great pure devotees as yet, so that we can do just a pure Sandhya Vandanam to Krishna and forget the Gayatri. Madhendra Puri said, is a verse which I can't remember. He said, my namaskar to Sandhya Vandan, my namaskar to Gayatri, my namaskar to all these kriyas, because I am sold to this Nandanandan. And my Nandanandan is everything. All the worship and everything goes to Nandanandan. Now he can say that. We can't do that. We are actually supposed to chant our Gayatris on time, supposed to take baths on time and as many times as possible and all those things, right? Why? Because we are not on that level. So in terms of understanding, our understanding should be very clear. In terms of following, yes, sometimes we have to follow the social custom. Prabhupada also mentioned when he was installing the Krishna Balaram deities in Vrindavan, he said, just chanting Hare Krishna is enough for the installation of the deities. But I'm performing this 3 days yajna just to satisfy local Brahmins and local people. Because if I don't do the yajna, they will not consider this as a valid temple. So Prabhupada also did that at some places. So we also may have to do all these things. If it satisfies our family people, we should do that. Now, another example in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st chapter, when Bharat Maharaj was the king, first Janam I'm talking, first birth I'm talking, it's written in the Bhagavad. He was doing Indriya Yajna as well. It's written. Now, how a person like him doing Indriya Yajna? He is a pure devotee of Lord. Yes, and it's written in the Bhagavatam explanation. He was doing Indriya Yajna, considering this as a duty of a king and considering Indra as the arms of Krishna. So even in Indriya Yajna, he was worshipping Indra. So even if you do Kula Devata worship or something like that, I'm not recommending personally, but you still consider, this worshipable personality is a part and parcel of Krishna. So in that worship also you can worship Krishna. But again, we have to see. Final thing Prabhupada said, make it simple. If you worship Krishna, everything is fine. In ISKCON, one example, okay, I'll not go in that example. It can become debatable, but it's very, very clear. Prabhupada did not introduce any other demigod worship. Not that he did not respect it. He respected demigods, and we are supposed to respect, but he did not introduce, so that devotees should not get confused. You offer your worship, your heart, your energy, your money, your bhoga, everything to Krishna, and everything will be fine. The definition given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami of Shraddha word in Chaitanya Charitamrita is Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudhrad Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krat Hoya. If you do Krishna Bhakti Sarva Karma Krat, you have done every single activity. And that is the definition of faith, Shraddha. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kare. Sudhrad. Sudhrad means very strong faith you have. If I do worship of Krishna, everything else is done. Nothing else you need to do. That's a very high level. Is that okay?
Yes, true. Thank you. But as you said, we are not at that level.
We are not at that level. But
Yeah.
at the same time, our goal should be very clear. Our understanding should be very, otherwise we may get lost. If I start doing one yajna every month, for example, and if I don't do yajna 1 month, honestly, my heart will say, "Arey, yajna nahi kiya is mahine, kuch calamity na aa jaye." You know, because slowly our faith will increase. So today we may not have not of faith in those sort of things, but if you start doing even today, it will happen after. If you don't chant your Hanuman Chalisa today, you'll feel like, "Arey, Hanuman ji narasta nahi ho jayenge," or something else. So that's what Hare Krishna Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna. Everything is included in this one mantra. No other person will get dissatisfied with you. Demigods will come and offer their blessings to you. Kubera was offering blessings to Dhruv Maharaj. So we should have no fear. No, it does not mean no respect. That's wrong. That's wrong. Full respect, but no fear. Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu. And also to maintain the family, that family also respects what we respect.
Yeah.
It is very important that we respect
Very
what they
important.
respect. So it's a mutual thing.
Yes, Radhesham Prabhu gave a class on Grahasthashram. I think he was in a marriage ceremony or post-marriage ceremony, and he said, wife should not just marry to the husband, wife should marry to the family of the husband and of the ego of the husband. Sorry, 3 things. Radhesham Prabhu. So Radhesham Prabhu. If anyone disagrees, go and fight with Radhesham Prabhu. Wife should not just marry with the husband, with the family of the husband. What does it mean? You respect the family of the husband and also to the ego of the husband. This is the word he used. Because somehow or other Krishna has made that arrangement for you and you have to follow it. Now, how you follow up, to what extent, they're all details, but the principle is these 3 things should be maintained. Yeah, that's a social custom. And then life will go on nicely. And he also mentioned about considering him as a representative of Vishnu. So if you worship him, worship in the sense of respect him, actually you're worshipping Vishnu. And even the husband, Prabhu said, is not well qualified. He may not be a rich person, not very qualified person. But if you faithfully serve that husband, Vishnu will fulfill your desires. Husband doesn't have that capacity because you have that faith and the view. This is Lord Vishnu's representative. Vishnu has arranged this for me. So Vishnu will fulfill all your desires. That's a beautiful statement. Beautiful, because we are all trying to fulfill our desires, right? In a way or other. So Lord Vishnu will fulfill your desires. Beautiful. Okay. Let's carry on to our verses. 17, 26, and 7. Who hasn't done? Manmohan Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Sadbhave sadhu bhave cha.
Sadbhave sadhu bhave cha.
Sadityetat prayujyate.
Sad iti etat prayujyate.
Prashaste karmani tathas.
Prashaste karmani tatha.
Sachabdah partha yujyate.
Sachabdah partha yujyate.
Yagye tapasi dane cha.
Yagye tapasi dane cha.
Sthiti sadati chochate.
Sthiti saditi chochate.
Karma chaiva tadirthiyam.
Karma chaiva tadarthiyam.
Tadityeva bhidiyate.
Sad iti eva bhidiyate.
Translation: the absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person or Son of Pratha. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So sadbhave, sadhu bhave is a very poetic language Krishna is using. So sadbhave, so sad here refers to sat, which is sat means. So we have sat and asat. So sat means permanent, asat means impermanent. So we in this material world are basically after asat. Our body is asat, our possessions are asat, our relations are asat, everything asat. But our relation and possession of Krishna is all sat. Like whatever bhakti you are doing, that is sat, eternal. So that sat is mentioned in this word. So sat bhave, Prabhupada, in the sense of the nature of supreme. So kiska bhav? Sat, absolute truth. the nature of absolute truth. Now, sadhu bhave, sadhu refers to devotee. So the one bhava is used for Krishna or absolute truth, I should say. One is referring for a devotee. Sad iti etat prayujyate. Prayujyate means prayog kiya gaya. It was used. It was used for what? Let's read the third line. Prashaste karmani. Prashaste here Prabhupada writes as prescribed duties. So if you are a grahastha, you have many prescribed duties for your family. For example, you have to go and earn money, you have to arrange some facility. All those things you have to manage for prashaste, whatever prescribed duties. If you're a grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, or brahmachari, everyone has prescribed duties. So while doing your prescribed duty, what word did you use? Sat. Let it be permanent. Permanent. Sat Shabda Partha Yujjate. Sat Shabda again. So Sat is being used 1, 2, 3, 4 times in one verse. Sat is used. So basically, what it is referring to, go towards permanent. Asato ma sad gamay. There's another saying you would have heard. I have heard when I was young. So asat. From asat, you go to sata. So basically, our mind should not go after too much asat. Again, positive or negative terms of material, it's all asat in that sense. Even positives are asat. If I get a lot of money, lot of respect, lot of powers, they're all asat. So asato ma sadgamay. Do not go towards asat, go towards sat. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. So tamas means darkness, go towards light. Now here not talking about this room light here, the light of bhakti. So from darkness of ignorance, we should go towards the light of bhakti. Now it's giving the details. This yajna, tapa, and dan, if you remember, every verse has been using this. So some people basically were using sat, some using tat, some using sat. Sorry, some using om. So yajna tapasi danecha isthiti sat chauchate karma chay tadarthiyam sat iti eva bhi dhyate. So people were using this in different type of yajna, tapasa, and dana. So let's take the last verse of this chapter. Who hasn't done today? Not sure. Sundar Gopal Prabhu. Ki jai.
I'll try, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam.
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam.
Tapastaptam kritam chayat.
Tapastaptam kritam chayat.
Asaditya yuchyate partha.
Asad iti uchyate partha.
Nacha tatpretya no iha.
Nacha tatpretya no iha.
Translation: anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pratha, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and the next. Right.
Thank you, Prabhu. So now finally Krishna is just including one verse, which is very important for all of us. So no matter which sort of tapas, tapta, datam means dana, huta means hota, is a word related to yajna. So yajna, dana, or tapa, whatever we do, if we do by ashraddha, means we don't have faith. We're just sitting in that yajna because, someone has told us to sit, or we are giving a dan because someone told us to do. If we don't have shraddha, asat iti uchyate, that is not permanent. That is not permanent. Where it's not permanent? Nachat pretya no iha. Pretya refers to the life after. Now there's Hindi, there's a word called preta. Anyone knows what the preta means? I shouldn't be talking at 8:52 p.m. on Wednesday night. Anyway, a very short version of preta. Everyone becomes preta. Sorry to say, everyone, whoever dies. Preta is the next transition when you leave this body. And Bhuta is the afterwards. So first station is Preta station, then is the Bhuta station. Now we don't want to become Preta or Bhuta station, we want to go Krishna station. Anyway, in general, we all become Preta. So Preta body is, you can say, subtler than the gross body which you have, but grosser than the subtle body which Bhutas have. So you can say like that. Now, when you go to Yam Loka, you get another body. Again, a different dimension altogether. So the point is, Pretya refers to not this body, the body after, because you only become Preta after leaving the body, right? You cannot become Preta in this body. At least I haven't heard that yet. So Pretya refers to the next. Next refers to after leaving this. Iha refers to this one. So Nachattat Pretya no Iha. Neither in the next world nor in this world. What happened? Asat, they are impermanent. So Prabhupada writes very beautifully, without faith, the Supreme is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless. It's useless both in this life and the next. So basically what it means, do the things with Shraddha. Now, how does Shraddha come? Shraddha comes by little studying of Shastra with devotee association. Otherwise, we also didn't have Shraddha. Many devotees today, before coming to Krishna consciousness, they were ashraddhalu. They had no faith in Krishna. Maybe Mataji started first and slowly Prabhuji came, or other way. So Shraddha comes slowly. But if you have no Shraddha and still doing this, they are useless. Now, useless in terms of you will get some sort of reaction of that if you do some sort of dan and dan is utilized properly. But the point is, you'll not get what you desire to get, or we should desire to get, which is a permanent benefit of that activity, which is only coming when you connect that activity with Krishna. Isn't it? Otherwise, it's all asat. Even if you get the result of putra kamesti, you get the putra, then you lose your putra. You get the wealth, you lose your wealth. You get a good health, you lose your health. It is all asat. So in that terms, Prabhupada is saying is useless. It doesn't mean useless in terms of no reactions. Some reaction will come, good or bad, but it uses in terms of looking at the transcendental picture, in permanent picture. There is no stability there. So try to do these things with Shraddha. And that's why when we invite guests in our house, or pujari in our house, we have a lot of Shraddha in that personality, because that personality is great. Even our guests, Atithi Devo Bhava. Now today it's very different saying, but that's what the Vedic understanding is. We consider Atithi as Devata. No matter who comes, we have so much Shraddha in that principle, in that person, in those blessings. And then the things become permanent asset. Okay. Everyone is satisfied. Now we have 5 minutes. Let me introduce 18th chapter at least, and then we may start it next time. Any questions or comments on 17th chapter? Not really. Okay. So this is the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. And Prabhupada writes, if you see in the title, conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. You say, why Prabhupada include the conclusion word there? So if you read the Sanskrit, it's moksha sannyasa yoga. That's the word, moksha sannyas. And Prabhupada translated as perfection of renunciation. So renunciation, we're reading this chapter, the detailed definition of renunciation, types of renunciation. But what is the perfection of renunciation? That's what we desire. Now, renunciation means, suppose, you give up all your wealth, you give up your house and everything. But do you become perfect just by giving it away? No, you don't. So what is the perfection of renunciation that's been taught here? What's the significance of the word conclusion? This chapter, in one sense, the conclusion of whole Bhagavad Gita, because whole Bhagavad Gita is summarized in this chapter. Karma Yoga is given, Jnana Yoga is given, Bhakti Yoga is given. Why is conclusion? It is a conclusion of this section as well. Like we say, Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 parts, right? Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. But the refined statement will be, first section is dedicated to Karma Yoga leading to Bhakti Yoga. Second, obviously, is Bhakti Yoga. And third is Jnana Yoga leading to Bhakti Yoga. So this chapter will lead you to that Bhakti Yoga, which Krishna is sort of aspiring to do through this section. And he has done it as well. Like 13th chapter, 14th chapter, everywhere he is using khulla, openly word Bhakti, Bhakti, Bhakti. Avyabhichari Bhakti is using in 14th chapter. Ananya Bhakti is using in 13th chapter. So similar, 15th chapter also, Prapadyate is talking about. He's saying, I exist. So throughout the section he has done, so now he's concluding it, and this chapter will contain the parts of different yogas and how they should lead or help and assist to go towards Bhakti Yoga. And the last part of this chapter itself completely dedicated to Bhakti Yoga. Now let's read the breakdown as per MIHE guide. So it has 6 or 7 sections. Yeah, it's a pretty long, not pretty long, the longest chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It has 78 verses, you would know. And which is the second longest, anyone remembers? Second longest chapter of Bhagavad Gita?
Chapter 11.
Second chapter. Second longest is second chapter. How many verses are there?
72.
72.
72. Yeah.
And third is Madhuri Mataji's proposal, 11th chapter, 55 verses. 11 is a pretty big chapter. So 78, 72, and 55. And then we have many 47s, fourth category. Anyway, so this chapter is pretty long. So let's quickly read the sections in this chapter. So Karma Yoga, superiority of working in devotion over renunciation of work. So Arjuna is asked a question as per different chapters as well, and Krishna is going to respond to that. Superiority of working devotion. So working devotion is much better than renouncing the work itself. So the first 12 chapters are dedicated for Karma Yoga. Second section is Jnana Yoga, 13 to 18, where Krishna will again re-summarize what he has already discussed earlier. Then he will dedicate around 20 verses to modes of nature. So he has talked about, food in mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness. He's talked about sacrifice. He's talked about austerity, talk about dana. Now he'll talk more terms in terms of modes of nature. So we'll talk about renunciation in mode of ignorance, renunciation mode of passion, renunciation mode of goodness, and all that. Then he will say, worshipping Krishna through one's work. Now we have very famous saying in India, karma hi puja hai. Now, there's no verse in Bhagavad Gita which tells that, but there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita which comes close to that. How we can perform our work in devotion. Not work is devotion. And Chaitanya Prabhu was saying, if work was devotion, then donkey is the greatest devotee because he works the hardest, isn't it? The person who's working 16, 17 hours of work, they will be the best devotees because they're working so much. No, work is not the worship. Work can be converted into worship. So if you say paneer is palak paneer sabji, paneer can be converted. Doodh can be converted to that. Doodh itself is not there. So work can be converted. We'll read that. And then beautiful section comes here. Famous verses are there, and I would love to dedicate some extra time on this section. So from Jnana Yoga to pure devotional service, then we have the best section of Bhagavad Gita, surrender to Krishna. And then the last one, Arjuna agrees to fight, and victory is assured by Sanjaya, which is around 11, 12 verses towards the end. So that's like a nutshell of this 18th chapter. Now, next week, we'll start the 18th chapter with the question of Arjuna and then how Krishna will proceed towards all that. Okay. Any quick questions or comments or complaints? Everyone satisfied? 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita finished. So please get ready with your assignments. I know everyone is on holiday mode, but yeah, if you could do it before you go on holidays, because when you come back, it will be difficult. So do as much as possible. The assignments are pretty simple and straightforward. And so the Gopal Prabhu, if I'm not wrong, 13th December is the last class of this year.
Yes, Prabhuji, 13th December was proposed.
Yeah, okay. And proposed last class. Okay.
And the additional class that we missed 2 weeks back is supposed to be on the 3rd of December.
3rd of December. Is it Sunday, Prabhu?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So maybe Prabhu, you can republish the schedule for everyone's benefit. So just which days we are planning what, and then we'll try to follow. And again, your exam will be around mid of February. So please be ready. Last exam of Bhagavad Gita. So then, Gopal, for any other announcements which are missed out?
These were the only ones.
Okay. Chalo, thank you so much, everyone. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita ki jai. And you can see Jagannath Puri live on the screen. This is the Grand Road near to that Sri Mandir. Vinay Prabhu is giving darshan. So all glories to Jagannath Puri Dham. All glories to Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. All glories to Sri Vinay Prabhu as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.